Hello and welcome to episode 284 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, the place where the small press makes one hell of a big noise. I'm Vince Hunt, writer of MI666, and joining me this week are the creator of Vanguard and James Cameron of comics. It's Dan Butcher.
Who am I going to get? Who am I going to get?
And also, you can hear him there, the creator of Atomic Hercules and the Lloyd Kaufman of comics.
I knew it'd be Lloyd Kaufman.
It's Tony Esmond, which I tell you what, after this week, I mean, I like Lloyd Kaufman.
You watched the movie about him, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it wasn't so much him. He was part of a sort of documentary series I was watching, and the respect for him.
Of course.
Yeah. Went up.
There is a documentary movie on Amazon Prime just about him, isn't there?
Yeah, just about Troma and like
yeah.
Kaufman and stuff. Yeah. I need to watch that because
I met him in New York. Troma had a table there for a few years, and he's everything you'd expect, man. He's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I think I said to you, he's like the Mel Brooks horror movies to me.
Yeah.
Bunch of Troma comics, aren't there? There are Troma comics.
Yeah. Toxic Avenger must have had.
Yeah. That was a Marvel comic for a while,
the fucking kids TV series.
Yeah.
Utterly bizarre.
Yeah, I had some action figures of that. Anyway, it's interesting we're talking about adaptions because we're going to be talking about some more in just a little while. But yes, it's December. Christmas is almost here. Ha ha! And we're not going to be talking about Christmas comics because
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Every year we think about doing it.
Let's do a Christmas special.
There's fuck all to talk about Christmas comics.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we say that, and people will probably put us. They'll put us right.
In a place,
as well they should.
Once you get the fucking Tuesday morning emails when just get all those emails saying how wrong we are and everything.
Yeah. And we do look forward to them.
I bought some of that Camagra off that email as well.
But yes, our show is very much, we like to get the audiences and their listeners involved, and they stepped up properly big time this week when it came to responses, because we've got a topic that quite a few people seem to have opinions on.
Yeah, got a lot of messages, didn't we?
Yeah, which is great to see. So anyone who got in touch with us, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it as always, and just be prepared for the next 90 minutes of absolute nonsense. All in the name of comics. Do you know where else is all in the name of comics?
Comic House.
Very good. I wore my hat today, out with the dog.
Hey.
I'm like a walk-in billboard. A lot of people stopped me and said, "You're so cool. What's Comic House?"
Yeah. And then you told them that Comic House is the indie comic marketplace with a difference. Did you, Tony?
Yeah, and I stopped flashing my headlights at them.
I mean, let's stop the story there because it could ruin the sponsors.
Legal advice.
Oi, I heard you talk about the sponsors today on a podcast I listened to you on. It's very good.
I've not listened to that
Thank
yet.
you for the kind words.
Look, we can't derail it 10 seconds into the ad.
Bring it back.
No, Comic House sponsor us. God bless them. They love indie comics. And if you go on comichouse.com, there's a huge selection of titles on the database. People who self-publish can list their book on there for free. It's another avenue to get to start selling your books. They also have a digital app, which more and more people are adding their books to. So those of you out there, like us, who love indie comics, can get hold of the Comic House app and start reading loads and loads and loads of indie comics straight away. What sort of stuff is on there at the moment, Dan?
We've got Wall Breakers Volume 1, Issue 1. It's an action-packed one-shot that says it on the cover. The Epics of Enkudu, Volume 1, Issue 1.
Sorry.
I don't know what that word
week,
says.
every week.
Yeah. March of the Robots, Christmas All Over Again by a friend of the show, Stuart Moran. And we've got Abysmal Albion, Issue 1. That looks good too. And we've got many issues of Comic Scene, which has been recently uploaded, as well as Future Sci-Fi Tales, Volume 1 and 2. And a whole host more.
Good stuff. There's a whole host more, and every time that we mention this sponsorship ad, there are new and different titles that Dan is mentioning every week. That's how much stuff is going on there.
It really has exploded, isn't it? I left it for a couple of weeks before I looked at it, and I went, "Fucking, there's loads of new stuff on there."
And there's a lot of creators who are doing, which is always advisable if you've got like lots of back issues and stuff.
Yeah.
Pop them on there and
on there.
Yeah, people get a subscription to Comic House for only £3 a month, and they get access to your book and loads of other books, and that's how people probably discover fantastic new books they like, which is what it's all about. And if you want to check it out, there's a 14-day free trial. So just ignore anything that we talk about, because as soon as you see the comics for yourself, that'll do the work, which is what it's all about. So go to comichouse.com and find out more today. Now, before we get stuck
Very
in...
Slick.
Thank you.
You was on another podcast.
Oh, God, we're going to talk about that.
Friend to the show.
Yes. Thank you to Damien of Art92, who invited me onto his Omen to That podcast, where I talked about podcasting.
And us.
Yeah.
I didn't get to that bit yet, so...
I usually listen to it in like 3 or 4 minute bursts, because, sometimes I can't go all day,
Oh, God. This is what happened. Yes, thank you, Damien, for having me on the show. To talk about something that I know a minor amount about, but I do not claim to be a professional in any way, shape or form.
No.
But hopefully people will check it out and learn something. Or probably how not to do things. That's normally...
Would you say, Vince, that starting a podcast is relatively easy? Carrying on doing it is the grind of it, of keep doing it. That's where the real fight of it comes in.
Yeah. And totally that, Dan. And also, grind is an interesting word, because you have to be prepared for the consistency of it.
Yeah.
It's an enthusiasm medium, podcasting, both in listening and in doing. Because how many times have we, all of us out here, and you lovely people listening to this show, have probably discovered a podcast, and for 2 weeks you've binged it thinking it's the best thing in the world, and then you've fallen off it, and you don't go back to it. And when you start a podcast, you can have all the enthusiasm in the world, but you need to... you could try to create something that's rough and ready and sound like it's just put together, but you have to have some sort of structure and schedule to it and plan. Now, this show is normally chaos, but it's structured chaos, would you believe it? There is a method to our madness. We don't tell people that normally, do we? But,
no.
But yeah, I think listening to review shows, you'd be able to tell the formula, as it were.
Yeah, we know in our heads, we know where we're going around a certain time. We sort of naturally hit it now, don't we? It's weird actually, because all our shows tend to turn out to be pretty much the same amount of time, but we're not like, there's no sort of alarm going off to say right now we move over to shout outs. It just sort of naturally comes, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you got to have structure and you got to have planning. It's like making anything. If you try to,
it's very much like comics. Like it's all well and good having the great concept and I want to do this, I'm going to do that. When the actual grinding it, making the pages, doing the actual work bit, that's what gets a lot of people, I feel.
Yeah. I occasionally I go, there's some celebrities got a podcast. I think David Tennant had one and Jonathan Ross had one. And I thought, that's good. I'll listen to them. I quite like them. And then they do about 10, 15, then there's no more. And you're like,
Yeah. If they structure them so it's going to be like a season, so there's just 10 episodes and then they'll go away for a little bit and then do another 10 episodes, that's fine. But, it's like comics. A lot of people talk a good game but can't do it. And I include myself in that because this podcast is probably it's just become second nature to me now, and it's the longest running creative endeavour I've probably ever done.
Oh, there you go.
But we've also made it fun.
Even if I'm feeling a bit jaded on a Sunday, when we start recording, it cheers me up.
I feel jaded every Sunday.
So go check out
just
Damien's
after the show.
podcast, R&B.
There you go.
And there's several more with Danny B.
Yes,
Danny B's in the house.
There's a lot of great episodes of that show actually. So go forth and discover loads of that because it's really good. The show's come on leaps and bounds as well.
It's good. It's a good interview. I like it. Yeah.
So all that shameless self-promotion aside, December is going to be a good month and an important month for us here at Awesome Comics HQ. HQ, it just sounds cool, doesn't it?
Dirty basement.
Yeah, not dirty basement. You're in the basement.
You're in the basement.
You are a basement. Oh God! Already. This is why we need guests. Otherwise, we just lose it. No, in all seriousness, we talked about it briefly last week, but Tony, take it away.
Yeah. So we had a bit of a revelatory moment, didn't we? Where we said, look, we've been going a while now. We did a bit of work for a charity for episode 200, and we thought it was about time we did some more. give back a bit. So we thought with Christmas around the corner, we might try and raise some money for a worthy charity. And at the same time, whilst raising that money, we're going to help promote your project. So it's got something in it for you as well, I think is the way to do it. We've decided for us, our favourite charity is Cancer Research UK. But if you fancy donating to another worthy charity, we probably won't say no. I've got to say, unless it's like Tony Esmond's Balls charity, or do you know, it's something that's not worthy. But for us, it's Cancer Research UK. If you've got like I know, for example, John Tucker donates to a cat rescue, do that. Then we're fine with that, just as long as it's a worthy cause and someone who needs it. Yeah. So this is how it's going to work. Donate to a charity, and then send us a receipt. You know, like you get like an email, don't you? Or you get a screenshot of your phone, whatever it's going to be, to show that you've donated, and send it to us. And these are the options that we'll present to you. For a donation of £10, we will give your comics project or your art, or, you know, the fact that you're a letterer or a writer for hire, a shout out on the pod and on our social media. Okay, so it's got a good little reach for you. Maybe gets it outside of your bubble. For £20, we'll grab a short 10-minute interview. Now, anyone who went back or have listened to, or can go back and listen to the Thought Bubble special, we did 10-minute interviews. And we will do a 10-minute interview promoting you or a project of your choice. It might be that you want to promote someone else's book, for example.
Yeah.
You feel like talking about someone else's work for 10 minutes. You know, you're a fan of someone and you want to do it, or you want to promote your own. There's no shame in that at all.
You've got a Kickstarter going.
Yeah, especially if you've got a Kickstarter. That's going to be a good shout, yeah. For £30...
Bear in mind with that one, if you're doing a Kickstarter and stuff, the show will probably be out in January. So it'll be within
time it right.
Within the first 2 weeks, because this is going to be running for the whole of December. Yeah,
that's the plan. So the whole of December. We might eke a few 10-minute ones in here, but they're here and there. But yeah, it depends on how quickly we can get to you, etc. For £30, so the next three are limited availability. We'll probably see how we get on with them, and then we'll say, right, we've got to put a stop to that one because we've had too many. But for £30, Dan will do you a synthwave pin-up. He's done one for me for Atomic Hercules, and it's brilliant. And I think it's well worth it.
Yeah.
For £30, Vince will do you a digital pin-up of a single character. I'm thinking headshot for that, V. Is that right?
I do, yeah. I'll probably add a few bells and whistles to it, as I'm like to do occasionally.
Yeah, and anyone who's seen Vince's sketchbook or his stuff on Instagram and stuff like that, you'll see it's going to be well worth it for £30. That's more than worth it, isn't it?
Oh, thank you.
Might make up a page in the back for either of you guys. Might make a page in the back of your new comic. You might fill a page for £30. That's pretty good. And also donate to a charity at the same time. And for me, the really poor prize is for £30. I'll give you a private critique of a comic related project you're working on.
That's a good prize, T.
Yeah, so I've
got great insight and stuff.
Thank you, mate. It's very kind of you. All we ask is that you donate, and then you forward us your receipt. And once we've had that, please include a way that you prefer to be contacted. Of course, as well, if you want to make a donation without a reward, we won't say no. We'll know that you, but from that, we'll know that you're a good egg, and you'll be granted the now famous Friend of the Show badge. It's not an actual badge, to be fair. It's just a cyber badge. So if you want to make a donation without a reward and you just fancy that, we'll probably give you a little mention.
At the end of it, we'll probably run out a thank you list. At the end, if you don't want to be involved in that, just let us know, and we'll mention whoever wants to.
But I think it's a good deal actually, because we've got quite a good reach. Our social media is quite good. A lot of people, hundreds and hundreds of people listen to this every week. So if you've got a project, it's gonna get you out of your particular bubble possibly. And we can either do an interview or a little shout out for you for let's face it, for just a tenner, it's only a couple of coffees, isn't it? It's pretty good. There you go.
Yeah.
So have a look.
Making money for charity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We like to make probably like $250 by the end.
We'd love that, man.
Yeah. If we could make $250, that'd be it. That'd be amazing. So, and part of the reason that we're enthusiastic about this, because we know how lovely you people are out there. It's got nothing to do with us. We're just trying to give some value for money, because I mean, Lord knows this show isn't.
Do it for free. But I'll put all this in the Facebook group as well. I'm sure we can link to it on the Twitter or something. And it'll just be there, and the link to the Cancer Research UK donation page will be on there as well, unless you want to go with, I don't know, the Dogs Trust, or a lot of these are valid charities as well, so we won't mind that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we think Cancer Research is probably the one we thought, is our favourite at the moment.
Yeah. It's obviously this year's been a hard year for a lot of people in many, many ways. So now is the time to give if you can, because it all really helps.
Yeah,
everyone. So yes, thank you very much, and we'll be, of course, talking. We'll give you updates as the month goes on.
Yeah,
happens in the lead up to Christmas, because this month we're going to it's going to be quite a fun month. This month, it's going to be non-stop entertainment, isn't it, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. That was a trick question, because every week of this show's non-stop entertainment. But yes, at the end of the year we do have the quiz where I haven't made the title belts yet, Dan. But
they're getting a bit of heat online. People are liking that idea.
Yeah.
Send them in the post to. Yeah. Well, we only need to send them in the post.
Yeah,
they're going nowhere.
Yeah.
They've accepted as well. The Lakes have accepted.
Yes,
so Nicky's going to do the. Nicky's going to keep the points. Sorry.
Our previous opponents have all been tough, but I feel like the Lakes are like the biggest ones yet. They're going to be tough.
I think of them sort of as the Tyson Furies of the podcasting world.
Oh God. There's a loaded.
I like Tyson Fury.
Me and Vince make a WWF reference. Me and Vince are the Legion of Doom, and they're the Nasty Boys.
Okay.
Oh, what a rush! Yes, love it. I'm Hawkey's animal. Oh, hang on. Well, actually, they're both dead now.
Oh. Yeah.
But we're still going.
Most wrestlers are.
And
we're still going.
And we
not because we do steroids or anything.
We will be wearing spiked shoulder pads when we do the show.
Also.
Yeah.
So look forward to that.
Look forward to that. And lots of other stuff. We got one more guest left for the year, but we won't announce that just yet. But that's going to be a fun episode. That'll be next week. But this week, well, folks, get the popcorn ready. I know I have. Listen,
you have got popcorn. You showed me.
I've actually got popcorn. Yeah. So if you hear me eating at any point, I don't normally eat during the show, but if you do hear me eating, it is popcorn. Because this week we're going to the movies, kind of. Or the movies are going into comics, because this is a topic we haven't talked about before. Normally when movie adaptions are talked about with this lovely medium that we talk about every week, it's always, what comic would you love to see turned into a movie? Or, what series, what character, etc. We're going in the opposite direction to a sort of a line of comics that, I don't know, what is the health of this line of comics? That's something we're going to discuss as well, because we're talking about comic book movie adaptions. Now, this is, you've seen the film on the big screen, and you look on your comic book shelf, and Marvel or DC or whatever publisher have done a printed version of that very movie. Now we're going to kick this off. It is a topic that's quite interesting. And we've been talking about doing this for a while. We were going to, when this came about, we were going to do this show in conjunction with the June.
That's
right. Yeah. Because we had it all planned out.
Yeah, we had that sort of planned out, and obviously Marvel were running out of June comic, etc. And 2020,
Boom.
Yeah, it's
Boom are running it, aren't they?
Oh, is it Boomer doing the June comic?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Marvel did the original one.
That's one. Yeah,
been trying to find that fucking original, but it's so expensive online. I'm going to wait till.
I've got a lovely high grade. Fucking, I love my one.
Nice. I'm thinking I have to go to the Comic Mart and see if I can get it next year.
One fine day. Yeah. But yes, it was. So rather than push it back, this is a category of comics that used to be so huge and isn't so much anymore. But I think to kick us off, I'll kick us off by sort of saying, I've never really got it. I've done when it comes to comic book movie adaptions, and there are a lot, and a lot of our sort of listeners or people that responded on social media and stuff that have a lot of favourites, and everyone's got their favourites and stuff, and that's awesome. But I've never really understood or been a fan of them.
Let me say this then. I think I bought the adaptions that I've bought because rather than being a fan of comics, I was a fan of the movie. So I bought, for example, the Dune, I've got Dragon Slayer in front of me. I bought those comics because I was a fan of the actual movie as opposed to being a comic. So it's kind of, in my head, it's kind of attached to the movie more than it is attached to comics. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I understand where you come from.
Also, with that in mind, like, there's the sort of mindset of, well, we've got the movie. How does this translate it as well? I guess in the days before streaming or when movies were at your beck and call and you could just click and you can watch the movie.
That's the point I was going to make, man. Do you think this really lived before VHS? I mean, do you think the really big hits before, let's not say VHS, let's say the easily availability of movies?
Yeah, because it was still a boom market during VHS and stuff as well, wasn't it? I think.
It was for me. There was maybe because I'm a bit older than I was when I was a kid, but like the films used to have a bit of magic to them, and having the comic or anything to do with the film, like the sticker album, it was like I could have a bit of it. Now, novels. I used to read the books. I remember reading books on Terminator 2, just everything. I wanted more of it, and then now everything just seems. What's that? Books.
I'm not so much a fan of like a novelization of the film. I don't know why. It's like
it depends on what it is for me. So
yeah.
The example I always give is I read Return of the Jedi novelization before I saw the movie because the movie wasn't released. So I learned. I found out all the secrets of Return of the Jedi because I read the novel in a day and a half. Yeah, but the movie hadn't come out yet.
Yeah, we had a fucked up release schedule in the UK as well because it would air in the States and then we wouldn't get it for months, if not a year, down the line, which is kind of bloody hell. And as you said, like if you now I can go into the living room and put on Disney Plus and watch every single Marvel film they put out, but back then there wasn't that accessibility. So maybe as underage I could get like one of my fondest memories of getting like a movie tie-in comic was the RoboCop one because I loved the film of what I'd seen of it, but I couldn't really see it. I saw like a shabby VHS copy, like 10th generation pirate, and it's fucking static all over the place. So the only way I could actually get to read the story was reading the comic. And it's completely different to the film. Not completely different, but all the violence is like really toned down as you would be for a Marvel comic.
Especially like a lot of if some of the bigger publishers were doing like adaptions of pretty violent movies. Of course, it was very comic book-ized. It was it was kind of, so sometimes it would feel a little neutered when you saw some of that violence, especially if you had seen the film and then went to the adaptation. You'd be like,
because do you know how Clarence Broderick dies in the comic?
No.
In the film, RoboCop's pinned under the rubble, and he gets Clarence in the neck with his kind of the data port, the spike on his hand,
which is brutal.
In the comic, Clarence throws a grenade at him, and RoboCop shoots him in head, blowing it up and killing Clarence.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay.
Now they probably would stab him. I mean, Wolverine's stabbing everyone all the time. They'd probably do that now.
Yeah. It's not a problem.
Now, let me pose this question for you then. Is there a movie that you haven't seen, but you've read the comic?
That's an interesting question, because I think now
I've got one. What are you thinking? I have seen it now, obviously, but I didn't see it for years. So in 1976, when I was 8, my father bought me the 2001 Space Odyssey Marvel Treasury Special.
Okay.
Which is one of my personal highlights of Kirby's career. It's amazing and really pricey. I think it was on a kayfabe, got the kayfabe effect. It was one of the kayfabe YouTube videos, so the price of it's gone up mad on online. But it is just amazing. Now, if there was ever a movie that was slow and boring at the start, it's that movie. These sort of things are not boring, beautiful, but do you know what I mean? It sort of takes ages to anything out. So Kirby had to sort of crank it up a bit. And And I read that, and it blew my mind. And there's some moments in it that stuck, because it's so early when I was reading it, it's stuck in my retina. But there's the bit at the end where he walks into the bedroom. I don't know if you've seen 2001. He walks into the bedroom, and there's someone in it. He lies down and he becomes the old man in the bed. That bit, that is just incredible. But I remember that from the comic. I don't remember it from the movie, even though I've seen the movie maybe 3 times now, 3 or 4 times. But it's sort of, that one was
ingrained. Yeah,
utterly ingrained, and that's the reality of 2001: A Space Odyssey is Kirby's drawings and not Kubrick's movie.
Did the comic book version, did it go for likenesses? Because I know that was one thing that people kind of can make or break a movie comic.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Not particularly.
Likenesses.
A little bit.
No.
A little. It's Kirby, so do you know what I mean? They just like Kirby.
I can take it if the art's good. I can take it, but if it's trying to be the person and the art isn't up to scratch, it kind of breaks it. I mean, that fucking Batman one is like the gold standard.
Oh yeah, the Batman '89.
Yeah,
but that's part of the reason I don't feel it's a real Batman comic, is because
it's not. No,
it's the movie. I'll put my hands up, so I'm not a fan of the movie. But the movie I kind of accept is Batman because he's on the screen in front of me. But when I read the comic, it's not Batman.
No,
it's weird, isn't it? It makes you. It's a strange joining of 2 genres, isn't it? Or mediums, really, isn't it? You know.
I can look through the first Batman film, and there's bits of it I really like, and say I really like this bit. There's one bit in the Axis Chemical thing where Jack Napier's running up the stairs, and he goes around the corner, and then Batman sort of like glides around the back of him, and it's fucking great shot, great composition, everything. But like the most of it is like, it's kind of the same thing with the comic.
There was one that was one of those things that sometimes when you see a character in a comic book, they can look so much cooler than the person in the film. There was the one shot, there was one panel that still sticks with me now, and that particular book is one that I did pick up from the Comic Mart when I saw it. I had it when it was on the shelves at the time, but then it was read to
trashed.
Death. Yeah, it got trashed, read to death.
I did the same thing. I bought it in lockdown.
Yeah.
What was this, guys? Which
the Batman '89.
Right, okay.
Jerry Ordway, isn't it? It's Jerry Ordway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And there's one shot when Batman's sort of fighting in the belfry and stuff, and there's the martial arts guy that has the knives on the sides of his leg, and he's doing there's one wide panel, and he's doing a jumping kick at Batman. I would stare at that panel for ages and just thought that the bloke doing that flying kick looked amazing. In the film, it's not really much.
No.
Yeah. That's the difference, isn't it? That's the difference between comics and movies, I suppose. Yeah.
They had to change out the last one because obviously in the film he's like standing on the column looking at the bat symbol, but in the comic he's done like an action shot and he's like swinging towards the reader, and you have to kind of do that because the comic can't match that tracking shot up with the music swelling.
Yeah, music's a big thing, isn't it? And also I think the way that he couldn't really turn his head properly in the costume doesn't really have to apply in the comics.
No.
It's it's interesting because like the kind of the film's it has so many attributes that the comic can never kind of use or rely upon, but the comics do have their own strengths. I mean, some of the tweets we got, the who said about the Blade Runner comic, and it made me deeply jealous.
Rufus Dayglow.
Rufus Dayglow.
He owns the cover, doesn't he?
He owns the cover to the fourth issue, and it's got Deckard hanging off the side of the building with Roy Batty holding him. And it's a real forced perspective as he's kind of falling. There's the rain hammering away. And it's like, what a lovely cover.
Yeah, and that was a 4-issue adaptation of the film. It wasn't like
wasn't it originally one of the Marvel Super Specials, which I was going to talk about in a minute. And then a couple of them they made into miniseries as well. I think that's right.
That's a strange one because that's like relatively like a quite philosophical piece. Whereas Blade Runner is not really an action. No, it's not an action film, is it?
No.
Well, I think Marvel. I don't know if they realise this now, but they're in the game of selling comics to people. So they back then they would. I made a few. I got a bit obsessed with this Marvel Comics Super Specials thing, and they did not everything they did was movies, and they are the famous one. I know we talked about it before because they did the Kiss issue where they put the blood in the ink.
Yeah,
I think was the first issue of that, which we talked about before, didn't we? But it ran from 77 to 86, and it did some amazing fucking comics. So here's just a few of them. Now, some of these you would think just wouldn't work as a movie, as a comic, you know. So Jaws 2, art by Gene Colan and Tom Palmer. They did Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is art by Walt Simonson. They did, I know a favourite of Vince's, Xanadu, the movie. Now, how's that work as a comic? Do you know what I mean?
God knows.
Yeah. They did Raiders of the Lost Ark. They did a couple of Bonds, actually. They did For Your Eyes Only, and I think they did Octopussy as well. They did Dragon Slayer, which is this prized comic that I've kept for years and I love. They did Blade Runner. They did Annie. Do you remember the Annie movie?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, how on earth does that work as a comic? I've not read that one.
What, a musical?
Yeah.
That translates as all.
Yeah. They did The Dark Crystal with David Anthony Kraft and Brett Blevins on the art. So I need to find that. It looks must be pretty good. The Last Starfighter they did. That's pretty good. Yeah. And one that I can't remember who brought it up on the Twitter, Dan, but it was The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Yes,
they did that.
Up by Colin Craig.
Okay, cool. And that was written by Bill Mantlo with art by Mark Texeira. So that's going to be good as well. I think that was another one that became issues as well, I think, that one.
I've never seen that film.
Haven't you? I saw it in VHS. No. Yeah. I quite liked it. It's fucking bit mental.
Yeah, I've heard it's a bit mental.
Yeah.
Isn't he like a rock star super surgeon? And
yeah, he's like a Doc Savage metaphor, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's a bit of that going on. And there's some great actors in it. They did Sheena.
It's got the best end credit sequence ever.
Has it?
There's just this weird sort of... They're walking through like a kind of aqueduct kind of thing, and all the cast are joining them at one point with the strangest and most addictive sort of strange synth music in the world.
Okay.
It's like the ultimate ringtone.
Aren't they a band as well? Is that right?
Yeah. They're like a band. It's weird. It's worth watching just to see Jeff Goldblum and a pair of hairy chaps.
I might see if it's on. He's a sort of goofy scientist, isn't he, or doctor or something who comes along.
I'm not going to say he's typecast, but
yeah, I might see if it's on Blu-ray. That'd make a good Blu-ray film, I reckon.
Oh yeah,
Buckaroo Banzai. That's got to be streaming or something.
Yeah. So a couple of other ones I want to mention is Sheena. Do you remember that? She was one of the later Charlie's Angels. No, it might be Sheena of the Jungle, I think it was called.
Oh no, not yeah.
It was a bit off the back of Bo Derek being in Tarzan the Ape Man and that sort of thing. 2010, the sequel to 2001. Now, how does that translate into a movie? It's very cerebral, isn't it? It's just them sort of talking about things and things turning up on computer screens. The Santa Claus the movie was one.
Oh Christ!
Yeah, another one. That's a weird one.
That's a strange one.
That was an enormous movie, though, wasn't it? They put a lot into that, didn't they? The marketing and stuff.
Yeah,
that guy's called BJ. No joke there. That's a fact.
Yeah.
BJ and the Bear.
Yeah. So what you always want at Christmas.
Yeah. And the other one that I wanted to mention, it's always on my wish list. Dear Santa.
Yeah.
How about some hardcore oral? And the one I wanted to mention was number 7, which never came out, which was written by David Anthony Kraft again, art by George Perez, believe it or not. I think it came out in like Italy or something. And it's Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club, which was a fucking awful movie starring Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees.
Jesus.
I read a review. As part of the research, I read a review and it said it ranges from tolerable to embarrassing, the movie.
Fuck.
And I think they kind of went, oh, this isn't going to be very big. We won't bother with the comic. But I think it's totally drawn and everything, written and drawn. Yeah. But it's a George Perez comic, so you think that at some point they might want to put it out because he's the hottest,
just on him alone. That was shit.
Yeah. So it was an interesting little run. I mean, they did stuff like Weird World and they did the Kiss comics, and occasionally they did stuff that wasn't particularly movie related. I think they did Battlestar Galactica, which I suppose just gets under the wire as a movie because I think the first 2 episodes was stuck out as a movie in the cinema for it.
Yeah. I think they're definitely TV movies.
Yeah, yeah. So and that got that, and then that got it put into the monthly Battlestar Galactica, and I think they also had a Treasury style size edition of it as well. So it definitely was a big thing back then. There was loads of it going on, and these were magazines. So The difference between these and the comics that later came out, I think I'm right in saying this, is the magazines had more back matter in them, so they had shots of the set and stills and interviews and stuff like that as well in them. And I'm guessing they were sold probably more in, bookshops and stuff like that, Barnes and Noble and stuff in America, because they got that sort of shelf look to them. They looked more like they were the size of maybe National Lampoon or something like that. Yeah.
There's some though that kind of like take the material and then elevate it, like the Etsy on Twitter. He's called @Skullcano. He points out the Magnola's Dracula. Have you guys seen that? That's fucking top hole.
I really want. That's actually one for someone who's not necessarily a fan of this genre, should we say, or category of comics, or I never used to get it. I have a new appreciation of it now through the medium itself, through the whether it be the artwork, or now I push beyond the whole. Oh, it's not like the movie, is it? Whereas things like there's two on my wish list. One is that Magnola's Dracula, and the other one is the Alien, Archie Goodwin and Walt Simonson.
That's brilliant, man.
Right? Yeah, that's really good.
I mean, the Alien movie franchise is really interesting. Because we're going to ignore the spin-offs, we're not talking about them. But if you talk about the actual adaptions of the movie, if you were like an alienologist, I suppose, if that's the name of it, you're one of these people who studies the Alien movies, and there are people out there who do that. Then there's loads of material there, because the Walt Simonson one has things in it that didn't appear in the actual movie because they saw like a rough cut or read a script or something. There's the famous incident of the box alien, which is where they turn the corner and it looks like a box and it unfolds and it's an alien. Now, if you watch any of the extras on the Alien Criterion, I think it's Criterion or something like that, or Blu-ray or something, they say that never existed. They doubt that ever existed. But Walt Simonson swears blind that he saw it in a rough cut.
Where would you get that from? It's got to be.
He got flown to the UK to watch it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sure.
Well documented.
Why would you? It's such a big thing. Of course, yeah. Okay.
I wonder if it's something that looked like a box or something, and they're kind of, and it's just lost to the depths of time. People remember stuff because of the stories they've told of it rather than the actual.
There is that where there's deleted scenes where it's like Lambert and what's Yaphet Kotto's character called?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
But they're kind of like getting the fuel cells, and they cut the sequence out because it looks like the alien's just a bloke in a suit, and he's sort of crouched there, and then he sort of stands up, but he doesn't look like a box. He's
I wonder.
Crouched. Perhaps they just misinterpreted that. I don't know. But it's quite specific, looking like a box.
Yeah, and that's in the copy. I think it was done for Heavy Metal. And I think the recent stuff's been put out by Titan, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But it's worth getting, man. They're not expensive. Yeah. And the other thing as well is Dark Horse. I know you've read these, V, haven't you? Dark Horse have put out the original. So they took the original script by William Gibson for Alien 3, and they made a comic out of it. Yeah. And that's out there. And they've also done the one of Dan O'Bannon, which is one you've read, isn't it?
Yes. Knowing this show's coming out, it was quite fortuitous, shall we say. When I went on the Comixology browse, I noticed that Alien, the original screenplay, the latest issue had come out, and that was a bit more expensive, so I was like, ooh, I would kind of be interested to read this. And the first 3 issues were only 79p each. So I was like, oh, go on then. So I tried the first 3 issues and then bought the 4th and final issue for the full price, which I won't.
You rube. No, we don't remember. You got the first 3 cheap, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think I've bought the whole lot for cheaper than whatever the collection's going to be, which is about £10.
Right.
For a digital, Jesus. And this is 4 issues. So what this is the first draft, the original 1976 screenplay by Dan O'Bannon. So we all know, well, most of us will know what the story of Alien, the movie, is. And how it plays out. There were lots of versions of the screenplay. Names changed, lots of things sort of morphed, didn't it? Until you get to what we see as the classic on the screen. But obviously, with the success of the Alien 3, because I know Alien 3 had a similar sort of thing. If you watch some of the behind the scenes, the original ideas for Alien 3 with like the wooden planet and the monks and all this stuff. Yeah. I always thought that sounded awesome and fascinating, so I do actually want to read that series, actually, based on this. And
written by William Gibson as well, who's no slouch in the sci-fi books. I love his stuff.
This one is written by Cristiano Ciexas, or I've murdered that name. Guillaume Balby, coloured by Candice Han. And I will say this is a very, very interesting experimentation, especially if you know the film. And it works and it doesn't work, because, and I think that's why I kind of wanted to discuss it on here, because reading it, I see it on. There's two things going on. There's like two parts of me that are fighting, going, "Oh, I'm quite enjoying this," and the other part that's like, "Well, really,
it's not right."
Yeah. But that's
that little voice telling you it's not right. You get that a lot, though, don't you?
Because you know, from first panel to last panel, the whole thing's written well. It looks gorgeous. It looks fantastic. There's a clean. We think of Aliens, and obviously with the Dark Horse, comics that came afterwards, that dark, grimy, grungy. This isn't that.
Right.
The creative team have definitely gone for a more, you know what their existing franchise is, so they're trying to give it a new look. They're not trying to copy it. They're trying to get away from it. It's good. It's fresh. Obviously, the screenplay had different names for characters. I presume, I haven't read the screenplay, but different names for characters, different names for the ship. But the through line, if you could say that the skeleton of the story is all there. It's just the things around it have changed. So the way it looks and the way it feels, thumbs up. It's it's an interesting read for that, because it feels very much like a European book. Like when we've read some of these real ultra detailed sort of books like that, sci-fi books. However, the issue that it has is because of what it is. This is a crazy thing to say, but it's the Alien story. So because you'll read it, and all the names look different, all the names are everything's changed about it. By the time you get to the end, it feels like someone's done a glossy looking but ultimately copycat version of the story that we know.
Gotcha.
And let's face it, there was loads of those in the cinema, weren't there? Loads of people just went and ripped it off, didn't they?
It does feel like that. We've all seen those, those Predator knockoffs, all of those things. It feels like that, which is it's a disservice to the team doing it. I think mentally to think like that, because it's made so well, and it is clearly made with love. But it's the legacy of it. I don't know. I mean, it's got good reviews on Comixology and stuff, but how would that? Because there are a lot more bigger Alien fans than I. What would they think reading this? It's an interesting experimentation. I like the fact that they're doing this, though, that they're taking the original material.
And that's their last Alien book, isn't it? As well, that's their last hurrah.
Oh, is it really?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So, rights-wise, how do you think they got away with that? Dan Bannon, how was he able to even do that?
Oh, well, Dan O'Bannon's no longer with us.
I think there was loads of rewrites to the Alien script originally. Wasn't there? I think they went through 4 or 5 versions. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another. Oh, this is the third rewrite. It's like, yeah.
I don't want Ridley Scott taking another shot at cutting the fucking film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's also got an interesting thing on the cover of issue 1. Because they've got nice designs to them. But it's got the Dark Horse Comics logo at the top left. It's interesting because of what you just said, Tony. And underneath, there's a big yellow sticker underneath it, kind of like the old Comics Code Authority sort of thing. It stands out and it just says, "Our comeback will be bigger than our setback."
Right.
Oh, that's the thing they tried to do over... with this, the comic industry kind of had a bit of a... hard to describe it, but when COVID was kicking off and all the shops were shut and Diamond weren't putting stuff out, they all tried to run that on their they were trying to push everyone to run that on their comics.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
As like a push to say, look, we're going to come back.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it depends on it. I suppose it depends on the particular deal, doesn't it? But do Marvel now, when the rights go to Marvel, do Marvel have the rights to that comic?
Good point.
When Conan went over, Dark Horse put trades out with original Conan material, didn't they?
Yeah. Wasn't there an incident recently where Disney acquired some stuff and there was a comic artist sort of basically got fucked over because...
Wasn't it Alan Dean Foster for the novelizations of The Star Wars stuff, I think. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? It depends. As it super depends on the deal, doesn't it? I suppose, but see what happens.
Well, the trouble is, so many years down the line, you can't even write for that kind of stuff. Like they made a deal back in the day, and how could they foresee what would happen with Disney taking over Lucasfilm? And
yeah.
Oh well, that's a discussion for a different time.
I mean, creatively, to take on a project like that, adapting an original screenplay or something like that, and basically the brief is, that Alien film, pretend that doesn't exist and do your own version of it. And what everything looks like. That's terrifying. Why would I mean, what?
You'd almost want an artist who's never seen the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah. You would totally need that. Yeah.
It's got such a cultural kind of gave culture like such a punch to the face that the kind of Giger's look and everything about the film, it's hard to kind of escape its influence.
So in terms of that, we'll get off this series now, but I will say, because the issues are cheap, give issue 1 or 2 a try, see how you feel about it, and that sort of how the story flows, because it also how the pacing of the film, it takes a while to get going anyway, doesn't it? I mean, when you're watching the film, it's all atmosphere you're in.
That's a big example of why comics, movies don't always work as comics, and often don't work as comics, isn't it? That's one of the big things.
Yeah,
that's why it has to be an adaptation by someone who knows their onions.
Yeah,
because what will work in one won't work in the other, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Should I read some of the tweets we've got?
Go for it.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, because one of them references something I wanted to mention as well. So
and I'm going to get the popcorn out. So carry on, Dan.
Okay. If I don't mention the one you're referencing, Tony, you do say. So we've got one from Tom Curry. We've got a bit of news relating to Tom Curry coming up. I don't mind saying it was the adaptation of Hellboy, Guillermo del Toro, that got me into comics again. I'm sure it wasn't a one-to-one conversation, but it really got me to the feel of the thing and got me excited about the medium. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
I didn't really read
the movie. That's the one and only example of movies getting people into comics.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Proud of you, Tom.
4P is it's got to be Big Trouble in Little China, the first few volumes. John Carpenter moves it perfectly from the film. Must read.
Yeah, I think that becomes a spin-off though. So that's technically, that's a spin-off. So maybe we'll do that as another week. One week. We'll do spin-off, shall we? That's a good idea.
Similar to things like Army of Darkness and stuff like that. They've become such a different beast, haven't they?
Yeah, I've got that Robocop graphic novel sitting there ready for that show.
Cool.
We've got G-Man from Comics Anonymous, Batman, Punisher, and Blade Runner, all ones mentioned for sure. I've got Army of Darkness, which is amazing with Bolton's art, and having remembered the Flash TV show from back in the 90s, the TV special is a bit of a cheater guess. Pilot was maybe a TV movie.
Yeah.
I remember that. I don't remember the comic, to be honest.
No, I don't either. Here's a question for you. What was the first comic that became a movie that became a comic again?
Oh, God. Do you actually know this? Do you know this?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Well, I know someone claimed it on the internet, and I was trying to figure out if it was right or not, but I can't actually think of something predating it.
Oh, God. All right. Give us a clue. How old is it?
Early 80s.
Early 80s. Oh God, I was going to shoot earlier than that.
Me too.
Do you know what? I thought it would be earlier as well. I thought surely it's got to be a fucking, I don't know, horror movie one or something. Do you know what I mean?
Or a black and white Batman kind of.
Yeah, I thought like maybe like a Western.
But the trick is it goes from being a comic to a movie, and then they adapt the movie back into a comic. So it's quite specific, isn't it? Whilst there were Batman serials and stuff, you got the 66 Batman. Was it converted back into a comic? I don't think it was it?
Flash Gordon?
No, I don't think so.
I was going to say Star Wars. That was 77.
But that wasn't a comic first, babes. So
good point.
It's Superman 3, according to this article I read. So don't please write in and tell me I'm wrong, because I know you will. But it's allegedly Superman 3, because there wasn't a comic adaptation of 1 and 2. Which has anyone read that? It's got a photo cover of Christopher Reeve. It's quite a strange one. It's another one that sort of takes you slightly out of it, because the cover was the Superman flying out of the. Is it like a where they break up cars, like a breakage yard for cars? Yeah, where there's been a fight there, isn't there? Yeah.
2.
Is that in Superman 2?
Yeah. But they put it on the cover for 3.
Well, yeah, I think that's right. And it's Carrie Bates and Kurt Swan. So the Superman is somewhere between Christopher Reeves and Kurt Swan's Superman. It's not, you know, Kurt Swan's very distinctive in the way he draws Superman.
Yeah.
Almost sort of slightly chubby faced. You know, he's got a bit of a sort of 50s strongman thing going on.
Yeah.
But it's it's like a hybrid.
He's got a bigger forehead, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's true. It's a bit of a hybrid. And Kurt Swan tries to do some of the likenesses, and he gets some quite well. So Robert Vaughn, he gets well. But Richard Pryor doesn't look like Richard Pryor at all.
No, sorry, Superman 3 is the one in the crushing yard. Yeah, what we're talking about, it's not Superman 2.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. There's a bit in it that was filmed but was never in the final edit, which is a bit. At one point the camera spins round and there's a headline on a newspaper that says "Tap dancing Superman causes earthquake," and allegedly, according to the account I've read, that's not in Superman 3. I can't remember it, but it's apparently not in there. But it's in the comic. It's quite interesting. And it was one of those ones. I bought this and Superman 4. I think they were both comic adaptions, and they just don't seem like canon. They don't seem like Superman comics. They're just something that sort of sits on their own.
Yeah,
they're adaptations of the movie.
Yeah,
but it's a weird hybrid because it has that Kurt Swanness to the Superman character in it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
He tries with some characters. So he tries with Robert Vaughn, but then again, who's the blonde woman who's Billy Connolly's wife? She's in it.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know.
It doesn't really get her. She's just like.
Is it Leslie something?
Oh, I can't remember.
I'm just looking at fucking Richard Pryor. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it doesn't look like him at all, does it?
Doesn't look like him at all.
It looks like somebody out of a 70s TV series, Welcome Back to Kotter or something like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's really off.
Yeah.
Pamela Stevenson.
That's it. Well done. Nicely done. Yeah. It doesn't really get her, but it's an interesting one. And I remember I read that long before I saw the movie, and I was like, I read it, and I thought, oh, this is brilliant. But I've more got my mind on, this is going to happen in the movie. This is brilliant.
So wow, okay, that's the first one that's gone from comic to film to comic again.
That's what this article said. Now I did rack my brains for about 10 minutes after reading it, but I couldn't think of another one. But
we can throw down a gauntlet to listeners.
Yeah, if you can think of one. Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing on that, and I had a browse on Comixology, and this is one that I know a few people have talked about. Dan, I'd like to see you read this one, see what you thought of it. Imagine a world where the greatest comic book crossover of all time inspires a movie adaptation, and that movie adaptation inspires its own comic book. Tom Scioli did Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, the movie adaptation. With his twist to this story, what would the comic book adaptation of the movie version of the comic book look like?
It'd have that geezer who's in the last Transformers movie, seemingly in every fucking movie.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Potato would be in it.
Yeah.
And
this was this came out in 2017. So yeah, you can get it quite cheap. I vaguely remember people talking about this because Tom.
Yeah, that's right. I quite like it. Yeah, I like Tom Scioli's work. Yeah. It's a little bit out there, and he's not sort of your regular Marvel. Yeah.
I think that's why it's sort of weird and wonderful kind of thing. Yeah, that's from IDW.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Here's another one. I think this one was mentioned in one of the tweets, Dan, and it was Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Is that right? Is that the one?
Yeah.
And there was something, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, and you can find all these on YouTube now, but it's called Power Records. Do you remember these?
No, might be beyond my time there.
Yeah, it might be a little bit before your time. And what they were the old 45 singles in a sort of slot in the back of a comic book with a card cover. And some of them were, I think most of them were like all previous, already existing comics. And I remember I got an issue of Captain America, and it was amazing because I kept playing it on my dad's record player, and it was like all the voices put in with sound effects.
Okay.
Now they did loads. I mean, mostly TV stuff and comics. So they did like Kojak. I'd love to hear that one. Kojak, $6 Million Man, Space 1999, Star Trek. They also did this Planet of the Apes one, and I haven't listened to it, but I imagine it's the one where they pull their masks off in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and they're like mutants underneath. I remember that fucking me up as a kid when I read that in the Comics Weekly, and thinking, fucking hell, shit my pants. And then I actually saw the movie one night because I was far too young when I read the comic, but I saw the movie and I thought, fucking hell, it's an amazing film. Yeah. But it sort of lived, like you say, it lived in the comics in my mind long before I ever saw the movie. But yeah, to have that added soundtrack thing is a nice little sort of hybrid thing. I think.
That's an interesting one. I had a brainwave there about. Do you remember the Red Brown Captain America film?
Oh
that was a comic, then a film, then it went back into a comic. But that was in '79. So
did that go back into a comic?
Yeah.
Did it?
So he adapted that into a comic, the TV film.
Did they? Then that'll predate Superman 3.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Who put that comic out?
Marvel.
Oh, did they? I'll have a look for that.
I don't know who. I've got the cover for it here, or I'll send it in the WhatsApp.
Yeah, oh, nice one. Oh, cool. Yeah, then that would predate it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Live on air. So this is the heat me and Vince are bringing.
Yeah.
The quiz.
This is the reason for the champions.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't.
No, that's not a comic, man. That's a video cover.
No, that's not the heat I'm bringing. There's got to be a comic. Come on.
That's a reworked
cover.
I think it is.
Oh, damn it.
And just
Don't
like
let
that,
me down like this, boys.
Failure
crushed
live on air.
You might be right, but I kind of think that's
someone just mocked it up.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Oh well, that's a slap in the face.
How much is the price on it? $25. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's mocked up.
So I'd love to turn up to a fancy dress party dressed as that version.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you dressed as?
I watched those because there's two of them, aren't there? I watched them a few years ago, and it's the actual film work on it is terrible. He arrives at some sort of secret lab, and it goes at the sort of out. There's like a long shot, close up shot, long shot again. Then he drives in, and then you get a close up again. It's like, what were they fucking doing?
Yeah, we fucking mentioned this before. Like, we were like comic fans when they were putting shit like this out, and we used to watch it, like thinking, "Oh man, fucking Captain America, awesome!" And then you see shit like that, and you're like, "Oh Jesus Christ!" And then the other one came out with a fucking dude who's the son of that famous author, and his costume's got rubber fucking ears on it. And that's
the next one,
the Red Skull's Italian. And what?
I don't mind that actually. I quite like that one. That's got Ned Beatty in it. He's like he's part of a secret organisation, isn't he?
Yeah.
And, right. What year was Superman 3?
Oh, I don't know. You might have to look it up. Let me have a look.
80. I don't know.
Because there was a Flash Gordon one. 1980.
But is that's not. Oh, is there? So it's gone from comic. Yeah,
1983.
I mean, it was a comic character. It was. Yeah, it wasn't. Really
there were comics of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you got to have a film that when they base the comic on the film. Okay. So I'm not sure if that would. Well, unless you got a specific reference.
You see.
So is it an adaptation of the Flash Gordon movie?
The comic is, yeah.
Oh well, that might count then.
Hang on. See, live on air, we're discovering this. Al Williamson artwork. I'm literally looking this up. It ran across the 3 issues, 31 to 33 of Whitman's regular Flash comic. This is coming from the Starlogged website.
Oh yeah.
2012. Yes, and then it was collected into one thing, I think. Yes. So
I'm gonna say something here.
Go on.
Newspaper strip. Not comic.
It wasn't. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a very, very. I think we'll give you it, but that's a very.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but if these things fucking live and die by those technicalities.
You know what I mean? It'd become a comic. It was collected, wasn't it? Oh, and there was a gold key Flash Gordon comic, so I think it's all right. Yeah, I think that works. So it went from newspaper strip to comic to movie, back to comic again. I think we'll allow that one, Vincenzo. If you were doing the quiz, I think I'd allow that one, don't you?
Yeah. Vince is on my team, so yeah.
There you go.
But there is probably earlier ones, so let us know, folks. You know,
there's got to be. There's got to be. Can't be Superman 3. I mean, it was quite a good little article I read of it, but it was sort of, did get me thinking. It's like when they said, "Oh, Killraven had the first interracial kiss," and you're thinking there's got to be one before that, and you sort of rack your brains, don't you? But yeah, this one, have a think, everyone. It'd be interesting to hear what people say about that one. Yeah.
Were there any characters? We all, I guess, read some movie adaptions before we saw the actual films. Like I say, with some of the releasing sort of schedules, or I actually wasn't going to cinema until probably I was about 12 onwards and stuff, because there wasn't one near me. But so I lived and died by the VHSs, or whatever was on TV and stuff like that. So comics were so important. What character do you remember? Any sort of characters that you saw in a comic book adaptation, you just thought they were really cool, and they didn't quite feel the same when you saw the screen?
Oh, mate, Dragon Slayer. I mean, Dragon Slayer. I rewatched it. Dan said it's going to be shit. He's probably right there, to be fair. But I watched it. Rewatched it today. The first time I've seen it since I saw it at the cinema. Yeah. And I read the comic first, and then I think I saw it at the cinema. And the comic is like a dragon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Dragon Slayer it jumps between being a sort of robotic head to being a sort of stop clip animation type thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite live up to it. But if you read I read the novelization and the comic, and if you read them both, it's like he's got this shield made of dragon skin to protect him from the fire. He's got this spear that will cut through solid steel and stuff like that. And I think this is fucking amazing. It's like a Jedi.
Yeah.
And then you see the movie, and the geezer's like, do you know what I mean? The geezer couldn't fucking punch a hole in a bag of crisps.
No, he really needed. It was badly cast. He's the geezer out of fucking Ghostbusters 2.
That's right.
Who caters to Vigo.
Yeah, and there's a part of the spoilers for a fucking film that's from 1981 or something. But there's a bit in it where they sacrifice a virgin to the dragon to appease it every year. And there's a girl who's pretending to be a boy in it. And of course, you swallow this when you're reading the comic and reading the novel. You think, yeah, that's fine. She's pretending to be a boy so that she doesn't get put up. And you think, as soon as you see the movie, you think she's just a sexy lady.
Yeah.
There's no kind of
I mean, comics have that advantage of like budget has the budget is whatever the artist can dream up and put into their pen, and it, etc. Although fair play to the writers who have to adapt those sort of screenplays into some sort of comic book format, plus probably go through editors and publishers and all that. There was so much work put into them. For me, one of the characters, it wasn't so much a monster. I think that's a good shout though, like the special effects.
Yeah.
Comics show how that is kind of unparalleled, because it's all seamless. You don't have to worry about, that's a green screen background. Oh, the CGI and that's a bit ropey. Do you know what I mean? There's none of that with comics, because it should all blend together, hopefully. If it doesn't, you're doing something wrong. But I remember the Willow comic book adaptation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was Marvel. Was that Marvel?
Yeah, and that's that was a great, actually, now that I think about it, I read
Kroll.
that. And it didn't feel quite the same when I watched the film. And also, Mad Martigan, Val Kilmer's character, looked really, really cool in the comics. And I'm not saying he looked bad in the film. He still looked very cool. But the comic book one was the one I liked better.
Yeah, I get
okay.
You. Kroll was a bit like that for me as well. If you watch it, you're like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bit like it's about as good as Hawk the Slayer. Let's face it. But
it's probably a bit better than Hawk the Slayer, I've got to say.
Yeah. I quite like that. It's that bloke from the Carry On movies. He plays a giant in it. There you go. Whatever. Are there any adaptions that give an added extra element that just would, other than the special effects? Is there anything that just gives you insight into the story beyond the movie?
In one of the tweets, if I can find it, by 2D Specs on Twitter, they said also really like they'd often be based on shooting scripts, so you'd get scenes in the comic that didn't make it into the final cut of the film. The New Hope adaptation still had the Toshi Station, and the Empire one had the Wampus attacking the Rebel base.
That's right.
Because obviously a film takes a long time to make, a comic book takes a long time to make, and if you want to get the release at the right time, the comic normally comes out a good couple of months before the film.
Yeah.
And films are sometimes edited right up until the weekend they're about to come out. So sometimes. So there's going to be differences. It's like the whole when you see a trailer and then think, hold on, that scene wasn't in the film. But that's because they're normally editing it until the last moment. And it's the same with comics, But with a comic, you can't go back and re-edit a trailer because You know,
they've moved on. The artists have
yeah.
like fucking earning a page rate and they moved on to something else.
Yeah.
I've got that Empire Strikes Back in a little. It's a novelisation size thing. I was just showing Vince.
That. It's fascinating.
Yeah. And it's Archie Goodwin and Al Williamson, and it's cut up into like little. It's like almost like a Commando comic. It's a bit like that in a novel, and it's full colour.
Return of the Jedi one. They cut a comic up.
Right.
It's like in that novel. It's really strange.
Yeah. I treasured this book.
Yeah, I don't dislike
loved it as a kid. Yeah, absolutely. Like the one that there's a few that I think are lifted in their medium. They're lifted up as being a good comic on their own. I think that does occasionally happen. The ones I really used to enjoy the Star Trek adaptions. I think 3 and 4 and 5. I mean, let's face it, 5's a bit better than the movie, to be fair. But the movie
Which one's 5?
5's the one that Shatner directed, all about God. And they go to that planet and sing songs around the fire. No, that's 4. That's all right. I like that one.
That's all right. 4.
Yeah.
It's not the Undiscovered Country. Is it the what? That's the Peace one.
Final Frontier. It's the one with the rock climbing at the start. Which I mean, bits of it are good. I mean, I love anything Shatner does, but it's not. But the one that really impresses me, and I think this got mentioned in one of the tweets, is the Dune adaptation by Sienkiewicz. And I think someone describes it as being early Sienkiewicz, sort of just post, I suppose, Moon Knight or something like that. And that's one of my favourite comics ever, of any comic, never mind film adaptions. And me and Dan are huge Dune fans, but it really gives that, especially the Harkonnens. He draws them so well. There's a nastiness, and he turns the worms almost. There's almost an abstract nature to some of the views and the worm use and stuff like that. It's really beautiful, incredibly well coloured as well.
I've never read that, and I tried to get it this year. Have we already had this conversation on air?
Yeah. I don't know. Did we do it on air? But it's adapted by Ralph Macchio, not Kung Fu Kid. Art by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Karate Kid,
sorry.
Karate
Coloured by
Kid.
Christy Shield and lettered by Bill Rosen. Fucking seamless, absolutely seamless.
Strange. You could give Dune to like half a dozen different creators, and what they'd come back with would be, I'd imagine, completely different. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Because the material can kind of be taken so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like one time you'd get a David Lynch film, and then one time we'd get the Denis Villeneuve.
I mean that's interesting, isn't it? Really, it's when something hits the screen, it then becomes embedded into everyone's brain, really, doesn't it? But when you've got the a source material that has no visuals to it, give someone the Dune book, like you say, to someone who hasn't seen the movies or anything like that. Give it to 5 different artists, you will see 5 completely different looks.
I mean, with the new movie coming out, that's going to be pretty much 4 versions. So we got Lynch, we got the TV movie, we got Villeneuve, and we got Dudar, who's the crazy director.
Jodorowsky.
Yeah, we've got a Jodorowsky thing almost off the ground, and they all look very different, didn't they?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Completely. Well, I mean, it's like you had the original concept art for Star Wars, which they then turned into a comic book, didn't they? Because Darth Vader looked quite different. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, is it the Ralph McQuarrie?
That's it. Yeah.
I'm not a big Star Wars mark, so other than reading the Treasury and the comics as they were coming out, like when I was a kid, I've never dipped back into it. It's just that's the thing with me. I read any comic that comes out, but almost Star Wars to me is like the movies, and it just never occurred to me that it crosses over into the comics. It's weird, isn't it?
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, there's the spectacle of like the music, the sounds, and it just doesn't. For me, like I know you used to read the Star Wars comics. I tried to read them when I was younger, and I just couldn't do it. It didn't have the magic for me. And
it's interesting. I mean, for a lot of people, I think it's that they just want to stay in that world. They so when there's new comics of it, hence the spin-offs and stuff, and people get attached to characters that creatives create to be in this sort of cinematic world and things like that, and become fan favourites.
Movies are movies and comics are comics. Yeah. And sometimes it works. Adaptions work.
As we mentioned at the start, I'm not even sure if that was on here, but we don't get them anymore. As far as I can recall, you don't get them anymore.
Yeah,
film adaptations.
Yeah, film adaptations. Correct us if we're wrong, but normally when we see them, it's really? Where's that? Blimey! And We are not counting any of these tie-in prequels. That's all we seem to get at the moment, especially with like the big
spin-offs,
spin-offs, or the prequel to the movie where the cover is just a black cover with a photo screenshot.
It's the worst fucking covers ever. That Black Widow one was awful.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Yeah,
just the whole graphic design and the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
God. It's like they just can't be bothered.
Just slapped it on there. Yeah.
Which
I wonder which one was the last one to ever be produced. It might still be being produced now.
There's got to be someone like Dynamite or someone who's done an adaptation of. Oh, fucking! I'm trying to think of the Witchblade TV series as like an option against. It's already. There's got.
Yeah, when was the last full-on, movie adaptation?
Wave of them,
and done. We're not talking a movie adaptation that leads onto a series either. The one that's just literally. It's the adaptation.
This is the film in comic.
This is the film in a comic book.
They've got to have done some anime. Surely they've got to have adapted a movie back into an anime. Surely.
Yeah, I can imagine that would have happened at some point.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It doesn't.
Death Note. No,
it happened with I guess Transformers. You used to have the comics, and then they made the movie, and then they carried on the story from the movie and the comics. But
yeah.
That's well later than fucking.
Oh, I tell you what, something like Star Trek Out of Darkness or something like that. The second Star Trek movie got an adaptation, didn't it? The new, the new Star Trek movie.
Yes, yeah. Interesting, yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
There's just no market for them now because
no.
You can see all these films streamed to your home at any time and get that.
This used to be such a big market as well that like. If you're at a comic book mart or if you're scrolling through eBay, and certainly people have posted on the threads that we've put online, some weird and wonderful ones. Red Heat, I did not know that.
No, yeah, I'd fucking read the shit out of that.
Some of them are movies I quite liked, but I forgot they were comics. And the two that really jumped out to me were Shaun of the Dead. I'd forgotten that was a comic. Do you know where that ran first?
No.
2000 AD.
Was it really?
Okay.
Yeah, how weird.
Didn't IDW publish that in the?
I think it came out elsewhere as well. I think so. Yeah. But here's another one. Do you remember the movie A Life Less Ordinary with Ewan McGregor?
Yeah. Well,
Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, I remember it being a movie and some vague details.
Yeah, and a sort of vague bit of singing in it and stuff. Adapted in 2000 AD.
What?
Yeah.
I know. To be honest, no. I mean, a lot of the bits of that film probably work better in sequential than they do in the actual film anyway.
That's a strange one.
I always remember the scene where they kiss each other and they part and there's like a big bit of spit between them. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I've not seen this film.
God, I remember that. Yeah.
They're not selling it.
I remember thinking, yeah, I mean, from Danny Boyle, I just thought there must have been 28 days later. But then again, a lot of these sort of...
I think that's what he got the Hollywood money, didn't he? I think that's what happened there with that one.
Yeah, and like things like the horror genre in general is very much, I don't know, people just taking the licenses and then it becomes its own thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of money in them. I think that genuinely there probably was a lot of money in these adaptions because of people who were just Kiss fans or people who were like fans of Santa Claus the movie who knew fuck all about comics would have bought it. And when you think they had like Gene Colan and George Perez and all these they had big names on some of them. Tom Sutton, they had people who were probably earning a good few quid out of them. And if you're going to do an adaptation of Star Trek 3 or something.
Yeah.
That's going to be probably pretty much an evergreen. It's going to be reprinted a few times in like various omnibuses and stuff like that, and then it'll be digital, won't it? And you probably make a few quid out of it over the years, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. All right then, let's have a bit of fun now then, shall we? Right. 2 questions. Right. Now the first question is, what movie would you like to see turned into a comic book? Like, just a straight, as we're talking, an adaptation of the movie. What would you think would be a fascinating, to see that hasn't been done?
Okay.
And you don't have to worry about creators. This isn't one of those. I take Dave McKean and such, and we do Alf. The something like that. I don't know,
just purely the name of the movie, not the artist and writer or anything.
Yeah,
for now, just the name of the movie. I think.
Okay, I'd go Full Eclipse.
Interesting.
Mario Van Peebles.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I love that film. I love
Well, they
that
have
film.
sex whilst they transform into werewolves.
Yeah, although
That's
I mean,
Kenzie.
werewolves in a very loose term because they've just got werewolf, they got Wolverine claws, like bony claws sticking out. They did the bone claws before Wolverine did, and they just get big teeth and big eyebrows, don't they?
Yeah,
I fucking love that film.
it's a good film, innit? I got that on the old big, the old big VHS cassettes you used to get in Blockbuster. I got that version of it.
That for me was one of those. You had the £2.50 top title, and then there was like the £2 or the £1, the other films.
Yeah.
So when you went to rent two movies, you get the top title, whatever the big budget was, and then you've got another I'll get a top title with it. And
that's where Full Moon Studios came to play for me because I'd get all that shit as well. Yeah,
You snagged one of them.
Full Eclipse. No, they've done a Full Eclipse. Surely they've done it. I swear I've seen a cover of it. Right, Dan, I'm going to look it up now.
I don't know, man. There's so many of my films I really enjoy have already been done or been made into comics. That's a real tough one. I'm drawing an absolute blank. I just on air I've ordered the Total Recall comic because I watched Total Recall this week.
Oh, amazing!
And I've not seen it in a few years. I was fucking laughing so hard all the way through it. It's so funny. It's just Verhoeven, like with Arnie, is just fucking gold. That bit when they're on the lift and Richter's arms get chopped off and he falls down armless and Quaid throws his arms over and says, "See you at the party, Richter." And I fucking rolled up. Just callous, brutal violence. Then he just come out with his one-liner.
Yeah, yeah, and he properly mullers people in that. It is a tricky question, isn't it?
A lot of them, I'm looking at them now. A lot of them have been made into comics.
Yeah, because I was thinking Thing done, Aliens done, Terminator done, Predator done.
Yeah, all that.
Big Trouble done.
Yeah, if it's a franchise, it's been made into a comic book, isn't it? Really?
Has They Live been made into a comic?
You must. Come on.
There was a comic that was before the film. Like, is it 11 o'clock in the morning? It's called The Original Short Story.
Oh, okay.
And they did that, and it's he's like a shape-shifting alien. In the comic, it's actually the alien is he kind of has a memory loss, and he thinks he's seen all these aliens undercover in society. And then the ending works out he's one of them as well. But
it's like the original short story that he kind of worked a little bit off. They did that as a comic. I'm not sure if they must have done the Roddy Piper.
There is.
Is there a comic adaptation of Shit Piss Fuck 2?
It will be when Tribute Press publish it.
Dr. Screw.
Dr. Screw.
Yeah, there's an interesting comic by Ray Nelson called Nada about They Live, because obviously Nada was the main character, wasn't he?
Character.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you a link to that. It's interesting. The thing is, I want to go. I mean, for me, it's got to be the sort of horror sci-fi genre. But like you say, because of the nature of those genres, they've already been tapped into like sequentials.
Yeah.
So to do, Critters, someone must have done that.
There's got to be a Critters. I think there is a Critters comic.
There's got to be a Critters comic.
There's got to be a Critters comic. But
I'll tell you what, there's a TV series I think actually, for a while I actually thought I imagined, but I think it actually happened. And it's a TV series. I know it's a TV series, so I'm slightly off base, but it's called G versus E. The first season was called Good versus Evil.
Yes.
And the second season. Do you remember that? It's like in the 70s, and they would fight. They died. These two guys had died and come back to sort of battle demons in LA or somewhere.
Yeah, it was a cop show, wasn't it? Really, essentially, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking great series. It only lasted like 2 seasons, but I loved that series. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'm not familiar with that one.
I don't.
That Sheena has popped up.
Yeah.
Tony.
What's that?
Marvel's Super Special Sheena 34.
Oh, nice.
84 Marvel Comics. Yeah.
I mean, like, TV...
I'm not buying it on that fucking cover.
She's quite sexy. She was like in the last season of Charlie's Angels, wasn't she? She was in that.
Again, that's a little too... I didn't used to watch Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Vince, did you used to watch Charlie's Angels?
No, that was before my time.
I watched that new movie. It's fucking terrible.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. It's the worst thing I've seen on a film for a long time, and I watched some shit.
Yeah,
I've heard some really bad stuff about it.
Awful shit. And then we
I'll
buy
tell you what
him
was a
books
good one
about them for his birthday.
Yes, and you buy me them very nicely. But the Conan the Barbarian and Conan 2 the Destroyer were and Red Sonja, I think, were comics and movies and comics again, weren't they, as well?
Yeah, okay,
They were quite good, aren't they?
Yeah.
I thought that Conan the Barbarian predated. But maybe it's because it's a book first. Maybe that's where he's drawing the line. Do you see what I mean?
You're right, yeah.
Maybe that's where that distinction comes from. Yeah, so it's another medium to start with. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we might have to call in the big guns. Mr. Sheaf, Richard Sheaf.
Oh, he'll know, won't he?
He would know.
Yeah.
He would know.
Calling Mr. Sheaf.
Blow that Joker out of the water with the old Superman 3 caper.
All right, then. Next question, and it's sort of evolved onto that. It doesn't matter if it's already been done or not. What movie would you personally like to adapt into a comic book?
Well, I've given mine before, haven't I? Scanners.
Oh God, yeah, Jesus, yeah. I'd read that all day. But the thing is, that would also go on to be like that could be an ongoing series quite easily.
Yeah. Well, it was 5 movies in the. I know they were pretty shit, but they were 5.
Because the other ones, I don't know. The first one, the others weren't Cronenberg, were they? So
no.
Yeah.
So you got Scanners 2 and 3, which 2 and 3 came out much years later, and then they did Scanner Cop 1 and 2. But they're still fucking just. There's something about Scanners is. Part of it is the noise, though, isn't it? It's like almost like a tiger roaring when they, growling when they turn their power on. But visually, it can be done as well. They did the X-Men, didn't they? So let's face it.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? Come on, there's got with the sort of attitude of Viper and things like that. Surely there's an 80s movie. Yeah.
There's one I really wanted to adapt, not just for the action and the violence, but for the themes throughout. Is Rollerball.
Oh yeah!
God.
What, the new version?
With
LL Cool J?
I've never made it through that film.
I've
I've tried
never
like
tried
5
to watch
times.
that.
I've never.
Awful. Yeah.
I've never.
The whole sort of message of like an individual standing up against like a corporate state.
Jonathan. Yeah.
It's just such a great tale.
And when his mate Moon Pie gets done by the Japanese.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
Because all these friends are falling away. All the people he knows are dying around him, and he's the last one.
Yeah.
Like, he's completely iscited.
That falls to me in that part so Star Wars was a game changer for movies, wasn't it? For science fiction movies. Before that, they were hauntingly, that's dystopian. There's 2 classes, aren't there, in that? The rich people.
It's a horrible future.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit where he goes to like him and Moon Pie go to like what's as a library, what it was, and he says, "I want to read up about before." And like, everyone's like, well, why the fuck you want to do that? And like the person on the desk is like, well, we only have access up to this point. And they've got it all, but they're just not allowed to read it. And
and they go to like a society party at one point. And it's and then they we've got a gun, let's go and blow up a tree. And they're just like playthings for these rich people, and they don't realise quite. They say they're popular, but they haven't got that level of power. Yeah,
a higher corporate sees his wife, Jonathan's wife, and because he's higher up the ladder, she leaves him for him. And
you get football comics. I think you could carry off the rollerball games. I mean, they did it in 2000 AD, didn't they? I mean, it was basically that, wasn't it? Harlem Heroes and stuff was, Well,
I do like the update, like rather than having roller skates, it'd be like on kind of like hover blades or something, and just modernize it and make it look a lot better. Then that sort of sci-fi
version of sports thing was hot for a while, wasn't it? You used to see a few of them, especially in UK comics actually.
That was a real kind of big thing, wasn't it?
Oh, Vince, sorry. What about you, Vince?
I'd take a punt on the Monster Squad.
Yay!
I would, but by using like the comics, be able to real crank up some of those scenes that that you could really sort of crank up some of the horror. You could crank up some of the because it was already like a witty and hilarious script anyway. Yeah. But I think with comics, like you say, because there are budgetary constrictions, and there's amazing the God Stan Winston effects in that film. Yeah. But in a comic book, when it comes to like action, you can just push it a bit more. You can push a transformation a bit more. You can push a vampire fight, which is done in like 1 second. You could do over a couple of pages. I think there's some interesting things, and that's just right up my street. That was
a fucking Shane Black script.
Yeah.
Really shows.
Yeah.
Because kids know how to fight monsters. Adults won't take it seriously. So the kids got
I think one of the interesting things about that film, because it's got almost a grown-up sort of sense of humour, but also trying to have that Goonies kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It didn't find an audience. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Because,
it's a 15, I think.
yeah, because it's treating that like, I mean, monsters are getting holes blown in through their chests with shotguns.
People are getting killed.
People are getting killed left, right, and centre. But also they're trying to market it to kids to be the new Goonies, so it didn't find that audience. Whereas I think in a comic book format now, the audience is kind of everyone anyway. Do you know what I mean? That's that. I think it's almost that idea's tailor-made for comic books.
Yeah,
doing something like that now. Plus, you also don't have to worry about the actors getting older.
Yeah.
I think the other thing we've avoided talking about here is the English comic scene as well. Do you remember Lookin' magazine?
Yeah.
They would do adaptions all the time. That was like their bread and butter, wasn't it? Mostly TV, but they did the odd movie stuff, didn't they?
They did an adaptation of like that Japanese TV series Starfleet, which was like a puppet show with a big metal red robot, Diex, and they did that in Looking because that was massive on the TV at one point. That was one of those things that kind of like it was a massive flare in like culture, and then just died out and went immediately. But that was in Looking. I can remember reading that. So, yeah.
Hey, here's a pop quiz question for you. You'll know this if you read Andy CT's tweet, but it's something I talked about a while ago. What movie project was the first collaboration between DC and Marvel?
I haven't read the tweet, so first
I've got it on there, but I can't recall it. I'm not going to look. Oh shit!
Which movie?
And it's an adaptation of a movie.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
What? Like not Return to Oz, or was it?
No, Wizard of Oz. Yeah, they adapted it, and it was like a joint thing between them.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So it predates Superman versus Spider-Man and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The other ones that I think you'd like, V, is they've House of Horror or House of Hammer. They had both names, which was the Dead Skin magazine that ran just before and parallel with Warrior. They did loads of Hammer horror adaptions by some amazing artists like Brian Lewis and Paul Neary and stuff. And so they actually adapted stuff like Countess Dracula and Seven Golden Vampires and that sort of thing. And there's some beautiful stuff in there. Yeah, really good. I think Des Skin knew a few quid when he saw it, didn't he? And he went for that.
I mean, something like Seven Golden Vampires is another one where I think you could push it so much further. In comic books that I
Well, they were going to do a sequel to the movie as well. They were going to go to India together and get a prize there as well. And that never. I don't think the money was there because it was a 3-movie deal they had with. Was it Golden Harvest? I can't remember now. It was whichever the Chinese Hong Kong studio was. But yeah, you're right, man. There's some great characters in that.
Yeah.
I think I remember getting this. I'm not sure if it was this film. I'm getting fucking my mum to say, "Why do you rent this shit for?" Seven Golden Vampires.
Here's another question for you. So, which Western has a friend of ours adapted that was actually a comic that was an insert in the DVD when it was released?
Oh, fucking hell. I know this one.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It was a remake of a John Wayne movie.
True Grit?
Yes, it was. So Wild Goose did the comic for it. I think it was like a little insert that went into the DVD or the Criterion edition or something like that.
I've got a couple of those discs with the comic books in them. I don't think I've ever really gone... one of those things, I'll get the comic book one and then just don't really... just sits in the box.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I get you.
I mean, it is like it's a collector's thing, isn't it? That sort of...
Yeah.
Like when I've got like the 4K thing, like Blu-ray, comes with the postcards. I'm not going to... or lobby cards, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to send them to anyone. I'm not going to. I kind of don't want to display them. Just in case I keep them in the box. That's weird. There's a real weird collector sort of thing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And they are just sort of like just snapshots of the film. But
I've been trying to kill that in me.
What
that the collecting thing?
The preciousness, being overly precious. Yeah. Speaking of precious, has anyone ever done Lord of the Rings? Like, never mind the films as well, but in comics.
There's a novel of the original one, isn't there? There's like a novel-sized comic of the original one. But I tell a lie, it's like a photo comic, so they've taken cells of the movie. You know, the Ralph Bakshi one?
Yeah, okay.
So I've got it here, actually.
There must be, because obviously the Tolkien estate and stuff, there must be sort of publishing rights and things like that, why it's never been...
got to be in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other
Yeah.
conversation. Photo stories, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Star Trek did that. That's the only way I saw a load of Star Trek episodes. Is
It's a relatively cheap way of banging out.
yeah, Byrne did it for a while, didn't he? He made photo
Okay.
stories. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing. And this has been an interesting conversation. Knew it would be. I knew we'd get carried away, and we got so carried away. I was just googling things to see what I could find.
Yeah.
I ordered Total Recall one.
He ordered Total Recall. I've been eating popcorn.
I can't find my copy of the Alien Nation adaptation. I might have to order that off eBay.
Oh,
that was mentioned.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
someone
all
told me
right,
about
that
it,
film.
didn't they? I like it.
Yeah.
I like the series, man. I don't mind it. I've got the follow up. They did like 4 follow up movies. I quite like them as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp turned into quite a terrifying monster
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah.
I remember that was
One day
handled
it'll be
really
able
well. Yeah. Anyway, so we hope you enjoyed this one. Were there any we didn't mention? Did we get anything wrong? Surely we did.
Undoubtedly.
Because we didn't know what we were talking about for a lot of it. Let us know and get in touch with us, or just point us in the direction of some good ones. Because, like I say, I'm not necessarily a fan of this sort of genre, but because it's a sort of genre or category of comics that doesn't really exist anymore. The comic marts and the back issues, there might be some absolute gems that I will have new appreciation for, which I probably will once I've gotten through the Alien one and the Dracula one, which I really need to get. I bet that costs a bit online, doesn't it? The Dracula one.
Oh, I don't know actually.
I'll tell you what.
The physical
it was
copy,
reprinted
not digital one.
Yeah.
It was reprinted in a UK. One of those ones where it does the 5 or 6 pages of a comic and like an anthology kind of title of reprints. There was definitely a UK one that did it because I can remember reading it in it. They did. I can't remember all those different titles. What they were.
It was like Havoc and Meltdown and all this sort of book. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Let's see if I look at it now while you.
And of course, we completely ignored the whole continent of Asia. I'm sure there's been loads over there.
God, yeah.
We just don't know enough about.
Yeah, there's so much. So this has been interesting. And of course, this is a topic that will have its, dare I say it, spin-off episodes where we can talk about, because we did, a lot of people mention a lot of comics that have got spin-off series that have become their own thing, and we'll talk about that in the new year, and we'll talk about things like that because, for me personally, when you get a lot of these spin-offs, it waters down the original concept. But maybe I'm wrong.
It depends what it is. For me, horses for courses. Like there's some of the Star Trek stuff's been fucking terrible because it's just like photographs of people transported onto the page with a filter, But some of it's like the Peter David Star Trek run was really good, and I kind of like that. But yeah. Do you think that some of these movies and series have a life in comics that's completely separate from? It's almost like a whole different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Buffy season 8 is a comic. Season 8 and 9,
That's one of the things with the Star Wars stuff, kind of because it carried on, didn't it, all through the books and the comics.
Yeah, for years.
Star Wars, and then kind of Disney came in and just kind of basically just wiped the slate clean of all this stuff, bar a few things which they've kind of retconned back in, like Admiral Thrawn and a lot of the Dark Horse Star Wars stuff was, they built up whole things, didn't they? Yeah. And well, that's the way shit goes.
Yep. But on that bombshell, do we have any shout-outs, gents?
We've got a couple, haven't we? So can we go to MCBC podcast? So Eamon, who does the Mega City Book Club podcast, is doing a charity raffle as well, and that is for Cancer Research UK. Go over there. If you're going to go into the raffle, he's asked me to say, if you've put money into the raffle, as a lot of good people have, including me, a bad person, me, but if you go into it and he doesn't get a notification of who's paid, there's something up with the GoFundMe or whatever it is, he's doing it. So you just need to message him to say that you put some money in with your receipt, same as what we're doing, and send it over to him, and you'll go into a raffle. There's some great stuff in there. There's the Judge Dredd Batman hardcover signed by the people who did it. There's some he goes around conventions basically, Eamon, and he gets books signed, and he sticks them all up for this raffle, and he's earned a lot of money for the charity over the years. So if you look up Mega City Book Club, MCBC podcast on Twitter, you'll be able to find him. He's a friend of ours. We know him well. You're going on there soon, aren't you? I think, V. You're going to go on and have a chat with him about something. Yeah, he's a good egg, and he's doing this non-stop. So go and have a look at that. There you go.
Yes, Dan, have you got any?
No.
Neither I.
Have you got the drink and draw?
Of course. Yeah, of course we have. Yes, yes. This week, this coming Friday, we have our Christmas drink and draw. That's what we can call it, can't we? We can call it a Christmas drink and draw.
I think so. Yeah.
Obviously, it will be taking place on the 11th of December. Might as well say, we'll just state the date because you never know when people will go listen to this. 11th of December 2020 at 7:30 p.m. UK time. Everyone is welcome. Absolutely everyone is welcome.
Yeah.
Lynette, if you're out there,
Who are you?
Talk to us. Let's see your face. It's all very simple. It's all via Zoom, and we're hoping to get a good chunk of numbers like we have been doing for the past few. There may be. Is there? I mean, we'll probably put a few couple ideas for what to draw. Maybe something Christmassy. Should we make it quite festive?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Difference between a snowman and a snow woman.
Ignore him. And you may have to ignore him on the night because I know what he's like. No, everyone is seriously welcome. I know a lot of regulars to the drink and draw will be looking forward to this new one. We hope you can make it. Like I say, there will be posts on the Twitter. There will be posts on the Facebook group. If you follow at this Chucklehead, chuck him a DM to just get some details so he can send you some links for the Zoom meeting, etc. It's just simple. You just turn up and just draw and chat with like-minded and lovely people. Actually, you don't even have to chat. Some people turn up, do amazing artwork, and then say, right, I'm off, bye. And I'm like, what?
I think some people see it as a bit of a sort of an extra episode of the podcast, don't they?
Yeah. And
I sort of sit there and listen. I don't mind that. That's right.
And it's also, I think it's just a real nice thing to do, especially with this year where, with social distancing and obviously with, social interaction being what it is and everyone at home or, staying safe, obviously. This is a great way to have that sort of mini convention feel. Just, it's almost like you're in a pub with a bunch of mates. Just chatting about comics and stuff. So yes, everyone is feel free to join the awesome pod drink and draw this Friday or 11th of December. I don't need to say I was trying to get it around in my head timey-wimey, but I thought it's this Friday, isn't it? So
Friday.
Yeah.
Simples.
Yeah.
So when you want the passcode and the Zoom thing, it'll be in the Awesome Comics group, or you can check out this Chucklehead.
Yeah.
And I know that Tom's quite a busy week, isn't he? He was saying. So if I'll have it as well. So if you need it, we'll all have it, won't we? Because
we'll do it through the pod as well.
Yeah. We'll do it through the pod, or if you know one of us more than anyone else, then get in touch with us as well.
Yeah.
So our door is always open. Oh, actually, I might edit that bit out because that's very disingenuous, isn't it? No.
message me, and then I'll message Vince and Sonny and say, "What the fucking details?"
That will be the truth.
They're on the WhatsApp group,
and that's what I will message Dan.
Yeah, it's
and
on
then,
the WhatsApp
then
group.
we will both scroll back and.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Because we are a well-oiled machine.
Have you mentioned Tom's name on that WhatsApp group? It fucking made me laugh. The Make-A-Wish kid.
yeah. He considers himself to be the Make-A-Wish kid, but he makes our wishes come true every time we have a drink and draw. So thank you, Tom.
Great, Tom.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And we hope he's very busy, and we, so just give him some kisses when you join it.
God.
Oh, God. It's that time of the night, folks. It's that time of the night.
Yeah, it's gone past.
This tonight has just flown by. Should we recommend some comics? I haven't. I opening disclaimer, I haven't read that much this week.
Yeah, me and you dropped the bollock.
Yeah, I say that. I did read all of that Alien series that I did just kind of talk about in the topic.
I was reading old so
so we've been reading like lots of older stuff or some interesting newer stuff. So I've got a mini one, another mention for a series, but I won't go first. Who wants to go first?
Shall I go first?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend a book because of the concept and the writing, and not so much on the art. So stand by for that, and I'll reason it out as we go along. Okay. It's Happy Hour, issue 1. There's issue 2 out as well, which I've got ready to read as well, but I haven't read it yet. And it's by Ahoy Comics. We speak about them every so often, don't we? Mm-hmm. £3.19 on Comixology, written by Pete Milligan. I'm a fan of Pete's work, and it's almost like a monthly recommend I give to his stuff. It's art by Michael Montanant, letters by Rob Sheen. So it's set in the near future, and a law has just been passed, and now being enforced, the rules that you have to be happy. So you can imagine this is a fucking absolute nightmare for me.
Yes.
It opens with some philosophy students, or sort of typical hipster philosophy students sitting on the grass in the dais of an old school university, sitting on the grass in the summer discussing, Aristotle's theory of happiness and all this sort of thing, and they're very sort of po-faced and hipstery. And the happiness police, I think they're called the happiness police because they've got HP written on their arms, turn up, accuse them of not being happy, and beat the fuck out of them. So already I'm on side with this. The cover is actually a man on the floor, it's sort of facing the camera with a big grin on his face, and he's being kicked the fuck out of, and his tooth is flying out towards the reader. It's a really good cover, actually. It's a nice one. Meanwhile, there's a family in a car, and they're on the highway, and they're uncomfortably happy about bad things that are happening in their life very briefly before they're involved in a car accident. Mum, son, and sister. And they get taken to the hospital, and on the hospital, the front foyer of the hospital is this big happy smiley face, like a acid house Watchmen kind of face. He wakes up to an overly happy doctor who's like strangely happy and telling him about how he's drilled a hole in his head to release the pressure. And then he sort of laughs and says, because last time I did that, it didn't work, and the person died. And
Jesus.
the bloke who's the patient has this sort of revelatory thing happen to him because of the accident, where he's realised that perhaps it's not a good thing to be happy all the time. And then he's immediately sedated when he sees it's going the wrong way, and he wakes up in a mental hospital with some happy nurses staring at him and telling him this is a readjustment centre. And he tells them, I don't want to be happy because my sister's just been killed. And everyone who's there who's grumpy or unhappy or critical gets an electric shock. They carry around these sort of electric shock things with them. Now, this is where the art suddenly took me out of it a bit, and it's due to references. So he uses... I'm not aware who the main character in this is a reference of, so it doesn't bother me. I suspect it probably is someone, but not being Mr. Pop Culture, I'm not aware who it is. But at this point in the comic, when he's in the readjustment centre, he walks slap bang into Kim, a girl called Kim, who is also clearly Sonequa Martin Green of Star Trek Discovery and The Walking Dead. And these appear to me to be very much sort of traced pictures of her doing different looks. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, look, there's Idris Elba. Idris Elba turns up as well, another favourite of those who just, And I'm like, it's not my real pet hate of like photographs put in a comic with a filter over the top. It's not quite that bad, but sometimes that's. I mean, do you remember for a while Samuel L. Jackson was in every fucking comic?
Yeah.
And it just takes me out of it a bit actually, and it ends up going from being a story that I thought, this is a really interesting concept. It's a story you can really take somewhere. You're not allowed to be happy. Well, what happens then? How does that strange? And there's a sort of messiah, savior, demagogue type character, and he gets turned, and the story's really good, but it turned into a case of me just spotting fucking famous people in it. I think
that's a real interesting sort of thing to point out as well. When we're going back to the topic, if there's a movie adaptation and the people in the comic look like the people in the movie, you're like, that's a board. I know exactly what I'm looking at. It's brilliant. If you're reading a fresh original comic book that has those sort of references, like clearly, I don't know, traced or whatever it is, it does take you out, doesn't it? Because all you see is the name, you don't see the story or the character.
Yeah, I don't remember this. For example, this character called Kim, I don't remember much about her now, apart from the fact that, there's that look of her, that's her hair hanging down, that's that thing. Because that actress in Discovery never closes her gob. She's always sort of walking around with her mouth open, which annoys me in people who do that. And she sort of does that in this comic, and I think, oh, that's where he's got it from. And I just kept thinking of Star Trek Discovery and that bit.
You getting shit for doing that? You can't use someone's likeness.
Yeah, I suppose this is sort of just that. I mean, they could claim if you were just like putting a photograph of someone in there, I could imagine that would get you in trouble. But this is just reference. I mean, I imagine
it is their likeness.
Yeah, I imagine someone could cop the hump over it somewhere.
I mean, presumably the only reason they don't do anything about it because there's nothing to be fucking gained.
What's the loss? A multi-million selling comic, that never exists anymore. I suppose we're not making a fucking lot of money out of it, which would be the angle, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, I like Milligan, and Milligan's like a real ideas machine. In my opinion, he comes up with some interesting angles, and he's out there, isn't he? He's out thinking about stuff. He's not just following the party line of superhero team.
And
I kind of liked it, and I was really intrigued by it as a theory, and from a sort of philosophical point of view, sociological point of view as well. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? If we're all, and it does have parallels with everyone's meant to be so upbeat on Twitter, but let's face it, they're not really, because in the background they're stabbing everyone else in the back. It's like that sort of thing, isn't it? There's real time elements to it, but yeah, it took me a little bit out of it. The Idris Elba stuff's very on the nose, and is by a not a very busy character, and he's not a character who's in it a lot, but it just suddenly there's a face in the middle of the page, and like, oh, I'll send you some on the WhatsApp in a second, and you'll see what I mean. But
there's Idris Elba.
Yeah. But yeah, Ahoy Comics are doing some interesting stuff, aren't they? I think there's some Millionaire's Island we talked about a while ago and stuff like that, and there is some stuff coming out of it. But there you go. I'm sending you them now on the WhatsApp.
Oh, check that out.
Okay. Yeah. Dan, do you want to go?
Oh yeah, that's fucking bang on.
Yeah, isn't it?
I don't know the actor name.
I've just sent you the Idris Elba one.
It's strange because what happens is like the rest of the faces aren't quite up to the same standard. And
that's
true.
You
get one. Like, oh, there's Idris Elba, and there's a bloke who kind of looks a bit weird.
The thing is, I can't knock the draftsmanship because the draftsmanship's clean and nice. But like you say, it's because the figures lean so heavily on that kind of reference. It does take away from it a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. Let me send you this one and see if you because this is definitely someone. There's a blonde guy with a beard, and I can't think who it is, but it's definitely someone. I just can't put my finger on who it is.
Yeah.
We will. Part of it. It's not him, but it looks a little bit like Kevin Bacon. We will put some of these images on the thread of the Facebook post.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Play along at home.
Yeah, play along at home. Dan,
who's next?
What have you got?
Yeah, I wasn't kind of. I was just reading old comics this week. I got down the
nothing wrong with that.
The old long box because I've got the Christmas decorations out, obviously, and I had a couple of long boxes. I was just grabbing old stuff out of there, flicking through that, reading through Viz. I don't know. I can't really recommend too much, really. There's always a couple of Conan books I always go back to when
what are they?
I'm sort of looking for stuff. No, not the actual books. Like,
oh, okay.
Like
I'm looking forward to the Viz Annual this year. That's one of my favourites.
Yes, nice. Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled. That's what I say. I think I've been 2 or 3 years. I've kept that tradition up of getting Viz.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Viz Annual for Christmas.
It does make me laugh. Yeah.
I have to buy it for myself, and because my wife won't. I always wrap it for myself and put it under the tree and make a big show of.
Do you really do that?
Yeah. I make a big show going, oh, what's this? Yeah. And I bet everyone's
that video you sent today, mate, of you and your son doing kung fu was one of my favourite things ever.
Yeah, absolutely sublime. Cannot wait to see the full-fledged movie.
Last week we done a Star Wars one, but that was quite hard to do the special effects. I thought, well, let's do a kung fu one. So
the over-the-top sound effects are sublime.
They're Enter the Dragon sound effects.
Oh, right, cool.
Amazing.
It was pointed out to me that there's a sound when people hit the floor in Enter the Dragon, because it's Warner Brothers. It's the same sound effect they use in the Bugs Bunny. No, it's Pink Panther. Pink Panther.
Pink Panther.
When people hit the ground, it's like when they hit the ground, and they use that sound effect in Enter the Dragon. Now I can't watch Enter the Dragon without that sound
don't
effect.
Tell me that now. Also, never been an adaptation, comic adaptation, as far as I know.
Enter the Dragon. Yeah. Okay.
Oh wow.
Has any Bruce Lee stuff been? Maybe Green Hornet.
There's a Bruce Lee comic series, isn't there? There's a couple. I know Mike Barron wrote one, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good. I think the pages for it are only like 50, 60 quid online, and they're not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't really point you into a comic to read this week. I can tell you there's a ton on Comic House. I've get a couple of people saying that they're going to start reading Vanguard from the start, so
that's cool.
check it out. Yeah, enjoy.
I watched that new Marvel book. I read that new Marvel book today that wants to be Vanguard.
Okay. What was it called? The Union?
Yeah, fucking hell, mate. I think you need to sue them.
Shocking.
The cover, I genuinely think the cover looks like your art. If someone showed me that and said, "Oh, Dan's done the cover for a Marvel comic," I go, "Oh yeah."
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
have a look. Yeah.
God,
one thing I've got in the shout.
Stay calm about that, Tony. I'd shit my pants with joy if like Dan's done the cover of a Marvel book. I'd be like, "Oh my god,
it's amazing." Get the top dollar. Yeah. Oh, Elmarvo too made its Target.
Oh yeah, nice one, well done, mate. Yeah. Looking
So
forward to getting that. I filled out my survey.
Yeah.
I saw the completed comic yesterday on the PDF format, and all looks great.
Beautiful.
So hopefully you'll be getting that soon, as well as Viper. I'll be sending it out this week as well.
Okay, and selfishly, Atomic Hercules went to print yesterday.
Yes.
So that'll be back then. I think we're bagging it up next Saturday and sending it out.
Cracking comics coming along before Christmas.
Awesome, and I haven't made anything in ages. So,
right. What about Black? When's Black coming back?
Look, I've got to talk to you about
that. Okay.
It's a bit of a favourites of the year from John Tucker, and that made the list, I think, this year, didn't it?
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow! I really haven't been paying attention to the internet. Wow.
Just when you restarted, Black is back. There you go. Job done.
Yeah.
Back in Black.
Okay.
Yes.
Go. Oh, amazing! Might have to talk to you about using AC/DC on a trailer. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to recommend short, sharp comic that you need to check out, and it's issue 3 of a book that I've mentioned twice before on this series, and it's Snake Claws. Number 3. Issue 3 is The Ninjas of the Shroud. For those who don't know, Snake Claws is basically about a sort of a villainous martial arts master who's trying to find the forbidden manual, and all those classic tropes that you have, like of someone wanting to perfect their martial arts and then fighting all kinds of different people trying to stop them. You're following the villain though on this one, and issue 3 does an interesting thing of the villain. In issue 1 and 2, you really did get the sense that he was the bad guy and the people against him were the heroes of the story, as it were, and he was outmatching them. With this one, as it says, there are ninjas. This is the ninja issue, and this is the creator Edison Neo, who does it all. By the way, does the whole thing, cover to cover. Clearly loves drawing and has wanted to draw a ninja action scene for quite some time. Because there's ninjas everywhere, there's kung fu everywhere, and it just runs along at a pace. The story is basically in issue 3, a heavy bounty has now been put on Snake Claws, and he's on the run. And he seeks out an old friend, Skipper, who has a boat. But there may be a trap involved. And I'm just, every time that there's a new issue of this, which he is churning these issues out, and this is a full colour action book. Digital, I've been reading it. It's like 79p an issue, and as soon as I see one's available, I'm immediately downloading it and reading it. It's a quick read,
nice.
but it's always a fun read. It plays into the tropes really nicely. There's, as I've mentioned before, when like people do martial arts moves and they're flying through the air, the lettering says what martial arts move they're using. Which is awesome. Like he flies to someone and the foot is like coming towards the reader, and it just says "Scorpion Heel" as he's flying through the air. Even to the point, and I think people have to use these sort of things sparingly, but they do work well sometimes. When a sound effect isn't really a sound effect.
Yes.
There's like the ninja boss, shall we say. There's loads of other ninjas that he fights, but then you get to the boss of the issue. and he's got 2 axes on his back. When he pulls those axes out to fight, it just says double axe in big letters as he pulls them out, which I think is brilliant. It's such a visual book. It's so much fun. I'm signed up to his newsletter now because and if you follow at Neo Comic Art and go to neocomicart.com, he's constantly showing updates, and he says you can read book 3 on the website for free, that he said recently, and there's like previews to what the latest issue is going to be, and I love the title of them, tying into that, the Golden Vampires, you know what I mean? It's these sort of titles for it. It's always Snake Claws and such. Issue 4 is going to be The Frostbite Immortal, and whereas I say book 5 is already titled Rumble at the Drunken Prawn. I mean, you know what you're going to get, and it's so much fun. I think it's a real sort of jolt of energy, this book, that more people need to know about. It's a little gem. I think if you're in the States, of course, he does small print runs, and for those who love those sort of books, and you can get the book on like Drive Through. Is it just called Drive Through Comics?
I think it is. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. But you can get printed books through there. But basically, follow this creator and follow this book because I love it, and it's a creator just churning out a book because they want to, and the love is there on every panel and every page. And I've got to send you guys the PDFs actually, because I think you'll just have fun with it. It's quick. Nice. It's a quick read, but it's just a lovely bit of joy. So yeah, Snake Claws, just the series. I think I'm just going to say that every time because and next time, issue 4, I'll probably do a quick mention because I'm probably going to mention this comic every time there's a new issue. That's how much I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. So there you go. That is my one. Look forward to more of that in the future. And what a show it's been. Unbelievable. I always think,
yeah, we're all over the place.
How are we going to fill the time? Oh no, it's time to finish.
And the spin-off one's going to be fucking hours long.
Yeah,
there's loads more to talk about now.
Yeah. That might have to be its own spin-off show. Oh God. If you want me to stop making awful jokes like that, then get in touch with us. You can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com. Likewise, with the charity stuff, please, if you want to send us your receipts for the charity stuff, get in touch with us on social media, or you can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter @theawesomepod, where we'll be talking about what we've got coming up to finish off the year. It'll just be fun. You're just gonna be laughing for the next few weeks. That's what it'll be, won't it? Especially next week.
I'm looking forward to next week's guest. He always makes me laugh.
Next week's guest is it's going to be another funny one. If you do
talking
Facebook...
of Alien.
Oh yeah. That's right. He is an alien. Yeah. If you do the Book of Faces, go to facebook.com/awesomecomicspodcast. Join the community group Awesome Comics Talk, which has a wonderful group of people on there just talking about comics.
As we're talking, we've had someone apply to join, and this happens occasionally. They say there's 3 questions. Are you a listener? And they've answered yes, and then they've deleted the following 2 questions. One of which is do not promote your own shit on here. And so I thought, I'll let them through because we were all talking, and then guess what their first post is? Promoting their own podcast. Oh. It makes my piss boil.
Is that the name of the show? If that's the name of the show, I might listen.
So I'm sorry that has been denied. You may claim to be a listener. I'm not overly in belief that you are. Yeah, but there you go. Yeah.
Any of you lovely people that have joined the group already know what a fantastic community is on there already. On Awesome Comics Talk on Facebook. It's the only reason to go on Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
And you won't have any hard selling like that sort of nonsense because we will not have it. We post this show once a week, and that's only because it's our page and we feel a bit dirty when we shill our own stuff, don't we?
I'll tell you whose art's improved. Stuart Mulrain. I've just seen his new one.
Yeah. Yes, without doubt.
Fucking hell. He's doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that colouring on that's great. Sorry, mate, interrupt you.
No, he listens though, so don't give him a big head. But if you want to listen to more of us big heads, then thank you for listening on the website awesomecomics.podbean.com. If you listened via Apple Podcasts, I've still got them written down as iTunes. I can't believe it.
Change it now. You've been saying that for weeks.
I'm going to change it now. You're actually going to hear me.
That was you pretending to type.
I was trying to do it so loudly that I spelled Apple wrong. Apple Podcasts. We're also on like Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife. What other networks are we on, Tony?
We're on Pod. George Mayhem is coming, and I've spelled that with a U.
What? You can't spell mayhem with a U. That'd be mayhum.
Mayhum. I like that.
Or Muham.
Have you ever had a hum job?
So where can they find you online?
Thank you, Dan. Where can people find us online, etc.? I kind of don't want to ask Tony, but I have to. Tony?
Yeah.
tributepress.bigcartel.com, or if you want our 3 lots of comics that have all of our comics on there, you can go to neverownanything.bigcartel.com.
Yes.
Get yourself a Christmas present.
Yeah.
Likewise, talking of something always giving, Dan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Vanguard Comic, and you can read Vanguard at vanguardcomic.com.
Yes, and you can find me on social media at Jester Diablo, Twitter or Instagram or whatever. I'm going to post up some art probably soon. We'll see.
Good. Get back on black.
Yeah.
So many puns. Thank you very much for listening, folks. I tell you what, go forth and watch your favourite movie that you've got a comic book adaptation of, if you've got one. Watch that movie and then read that comic and see how it compares.
Yes.
Or the other way round.
Comics are best, we've decided.
Yeah. Yeah, comics are always best. That's why we're here. So we hope you're happy, healthy, looking forward to Christmas and the rest of the year, because we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
I love Christmas, mate. I've told you, I get really
I
excited for Christmas. I can't sleep the night before I get so excited.
Like Christmas.
Like a day trip to Alton Towers, isn't it?
I've never been to Alton Towers.
You've never been to Alton Towers?
I remember going to Legoland once as an adult and taking my kid, and as I was pulling up, there was like a long line of black taxis, and I asked one of them why there was a long line of black taxis, and he said, it's a charity thing where we take underprivileged kids, from Londoners' council estates to Legoland. I thought, fuck all that, so we drove off.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, but hang on. So you drove off. What? You took your child away as he's crying. Fuck that! I'm not taking it.
Fixing with those children, those rough children.
Go for a pub lunch in Windsor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're going to find a harvester and make a day of it. Right. Yes, wherever you are, we hope you're okay, happy, healthy, and just making and reading comics. Keep doing it. That's why we love you, and we do love you. So go forth, read loads of comics from Dan, Tony, and myself. What do they do, guys?
They awesome.
Oh, Dan,
yes.
You got to pick up the pace, son. Tony's on there.
Good at that. No, it's perfection.
I thought it was perfect.
He's like a rat up a drain pipe, Tony, when he does it. He's straight on it. Straight on it.
I think that means sex.
No. Different show, Tony. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.